Howdy, and welcome back to my backyard DIY sauna video. This is episode 4, and in this episode we're going to install the lighting, the vapor barrier, some of that nice cedar interior, and more. Like I mentioned in the last video, we're starting off with the only other electrical wiring that will be going into this sauna other than the heater, which is a pair of heat-proof and waterproof LED strips I got off Amazon. You can see here I'm wiring them up through the holes I created in the studs in the last video, and we'll see what they look like shortly. One nice thing about getting the lights in is the project will speed up significantly because it enables me to work in the dark.
Okay, got the lights wired up. 2 tiers of lights being driven by this 200 watt 24 volt waterproof driver. So that's what's going to drive the lights. That hole is also where the heater wires are going to come in, and that hole is where the heater wire is going to come in from under the deck. Look at that. That is nice. That is a nice color. I'm really happy with that. I think that's going to look really, really nice under the cedar benches. It's going to give that, it's going to light the space, but not the people. You know, a lot of people put a light on the roof. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put these lights like under the benches, maybe even under the backrest, and just warmly light the space. Like, that's going to look real nice. So I'll leave this panel open for the heater wiring for now, but I think I can put the insulation here and here, maybe tape that up or staple it or something like that against the wall. And yeah, I've got lights.
Now that I had the lights and everything except the heater wiring that would be coming from the outside to the inside installed, it was time to install the vapor barrier. The vapor barrier is a critical component because it prevents moisture from penetrating into the insulation and wall cavity, where it could cause mold, rot, and structural damage in a high humidity environment like a sauna. This barrier is what keeps all that steam on the interior side where it belongs. You really want to get the vapor barrier to have as tight of a seal as possible. I overlapped the big sheets generously where they ended and used a special tape made of aluminum to seal off any gaps, and I also applied this stuff liberally. I started with the top first because I was anxious to start getting that cedar on. In addition to the importance of the vapor barrier itself, I installed furring strips on top of the vapor barrier. The furring is extremely important because it creates an air gap between the cedar and the vapor barrier, which allows the wood to dry on both sides after use. Without this gap, moisture can easily become trapped between the back of the cedar and the vapor barrier, which is exactly what we want to avoid. Each furring strip is mounted to each stud with 3-inch construction screws because they're going to hold the full weight of the cedar. Now that I had the vapor barrier installed on the top, I was anxious to start getting some of that 6-inch tongue-and-groove cedar installed, and boy is this stuff nice. Cedar is the ideal wood for saunas because it's naturally resistant to moisture and decay, has excellent insulation properties, releases a pleasant aromatic scent when heated, and doesn't get uncomfortably hot to the touch even at high temperatures. Plus, it's a softwood that won't splinter or become rough over time like hardwoods can in the heat-moisture cycles of sauna use, and is also by far the most expensive component in a sauna build. The cedar alone was probably almost half the cost of the entire sauna. I installed the cedar using pneumatic finishing nail gun and used special 2-inch stainless steel nails I bought on Amazon to affix the cedar boards to the furring strips, being careful to go through the tongue portion of the cedar to give it a clean finished look and not have any nails visible. Like everything else in this sauna build, it is extremely important to use rust-resistant materials like stainless steel anywhere that will be exposed to heat and moisture over a long period of time. After finishing all the planks on the roof, I was really happy with the result, and it was time to repeat the process of installing the vapor barrier and the furring strips on the other 4 walls. With the furring and vapor barrier installation completed, along with our first complete cedar surface, that brings us to the end of the 4th episode. In the next episode, we'll finish out the build by installing the cedar onto the remaining 4 surfaces, build our benches and our door from scratch, install the electrical and heater, and finally be able to take the sauna on its maiden voyage before putting on the finishing touches like paint and trim. Thanks so much for watching. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.